Hi everyone. I've had some suggestions or requests that I maybe talk or speak to what I'm doing. So I thought I'd give it a go today. So here is just applying my foundation. It is the color Cream Beige. I love these foundations. They are smear proof, smudge proof. Once I've got it on, it's not going anywhere. I love the consistency and the coverage that I can build up, but also that if I want it to be much lighter, I can do that simply by changing how I apply the product. So you can see moving from a swiping motion to a stippling motion. And so I really do make use of all of the features of the product, and both the foundation and the CCTM, the color correcting tinted moisturizer, adjust somewhat to the color of your skin. So here I'm using a deep color because I do want it to still be there, but I love the way it blends in. So if you look at how bold the colors on the cheeks and forehead are now, and then look at it again at the end of this video, you'll notice that it's blended with my skin a lot better. And that's just the incredible technology that this makeup uses. It's nothing that I apply to it from this point. I do always go back and use my foundation brush to make sure I get a really good blend at the edges. But, I mean, you'd think that the colour that deep tinted moisturiser is, I'd have horrible lines. So here I decided to use Pink Opal Shimmer Shadow Sense as both my blush and highlighter in one. I decided just to have a much simpler look today. There's quite a lot of colour in the top that I'm wearing, and I knew that my makeup itself would be quite bold and that I'd be adding a scarf. Shadow Sense is my favourite product to use in your brows. We do have a product called Brow Sense, but for me it just takes a bit longer. So for me, Shadow Sense is perfect. I also use it, as you can see, as a concealer or a brightener, depending on the day. Slept quite well last night. Actually slept through my alarm this morning, the first one anyway, so I didn't need the candlelight. I just used Sandstone Pearl. Candlelight I use when I have dark circles, because the peach tones in the candlelight will cancel out the dark circles under my eyes. Whereas the Sandstone Pearl is just the creamier colour, it's closer to my skin, and it's just a bit brighter. It's the Sandstone Pearl, the matte colour, as opposed to the Sandstone Pearl Shimmer that you'll sometimes see me use as a highlight. So Slate is one of the colours that is in the Smoky Neutrals collection. It's a limited edition, and it's one that I quite like using there in the crease as a transition colour. I don't know if you've seen me do it on here yet, but I do enjoy doing it. So today I decided to do it because the undertones in Slate are quite similar to the ones in the rest of the colours I knew I was going to use. I'm still experimenting with which mirrors I'm using when I'm recording in my bathroom. It's not quite the same setup as I would have out when I do it normally using a full desk. So excuse me when I go for this one. Oh no, what about this one? So here I used Amethyst, and I just used it to cover the rest of the lid. I wanted it as a base colour because I knew that while I'd cover some of it up, I wanted that base colour across the lids to be the same. It's about this point when I realised that it's actually quite cold. I've got wet hair and it's actually quite cold this morning. So this is Plasma Pink Shimmer. It's a limited edition colour from the Neon collection, we call it. Otherwise they're known as the Colour Surge collection. And I gradually build up colours like this. If you go in with lots far too quickly, you're going to find that it doesn't blend out as well. And going in with less at a time also means it's going to stay in place better. So I use the time to let the shadow have a few seconds to dry to clean your lips. You do that because it just means that the lip sense actually bonds straight onto your lips. If you clean your lips like that and then look, you'll realize that more often than not you'll have some foundation or some powder or something like that that is on your lips. And if you apply lip sense over that, it's going to bond to the foundation, not your lips, and that will move during the day. So when I use a dark colour like the Plasma Pink Shimmer, I normally start using a second makeup brush with that colour so that I can then go back with the first brush, which still had the amethyst on it, to blend. You will also notice that I often use a highlight. It's most often Snow, Sometimes it's a color like Pink Opal Shimmer or Sandstone Pearl Shimmer. But it just makes you look that little bit more awake. Your eyes look that much more alive. And I really like the effect that that gives, and it's such a simple step. So the Undersense is a completely optional product. You really don't have to use it. The mascara is incredible on its own. I do use it though, and I use it probably 95% of the time that I do makeup. It just creates an even more volume intense look. And it also contains the growth ingredient called Capixyl and the growth ingredient called Capixyl, and it will help condition your lashes. I always use the time that my Undersense is drying to shake your lip sense. You want to shake your lip sense because it doesn't contain all the nasties that bond it all together. It needs a good shake before you use it, especially if it's been sitting in the cupboard for a few weeks between using that particular colour. Yep, clown face. The expressions I pulled during my mascara, oh boy. But you know, you do what you need to do. Probably didn't need to get my eyebrow though. You can see it there, can't you? Yep, you can see it. I got mascara in my eyebrow this morning. If you do something like that, let it dry. Once you let it dry, you can use a cotton bud and just roll it off. Whereas if you try and move it while it's still wet, you're just going to spread the black. Praline Rose is such a sweet colour. It was one of my first ones. Yes, it's winter. It's one of my first ones that I bought, and I love it so much. I can't imagine a time when I won't have Praline Rose in my collection. And actually, you don't have to use a fan like that, but I just find it speeds up the drying process. And it's actually my peaceful time. It's a time in the mornings. It might sound cheesy or silly, but it's just a time in the morning when I stop and I just feel refreshed. I might think about what I need to get done during the day, but it's just a time to pause and just simply to be. Yeah. Yep. Tuning out. And so that was mostly dry. The top lip wasn't quite dry. I'd put a bit more on there. I often do. That's my preference. So I started with the bottom lip, which isn't my normal, but there's no reason to say you have to go the same way every time. The thing with lip sense that is important is that you don't go backwards and forwards over the colour, because you will move it. You'll lift up what you've just put down. So you'll see that whilst I might go over a spot more than once, I go the same direction over it every time. That's really important to get a good finish with lip sense. And it's dry and my finger is clean. And I still get such a kick of being able to do that with bright red, with glitter colours. I mean, that was a purple glitter lip sense that I put on last. Peacock Pearl has glitter in it. And my finger came off clean. How amazing is that? Yes, I always need to clean up my mascara. I put it on too quickly. I'm not careful enough and I get it everywhere. But my preference is to go in and clean it up rather than to be slower applying it. And yes, I decided it wasn't quite even. I didn't quite have enough on. Went back in, did a bit more, as you do. So I make the decision that it's easier to be a bit sloppier while I'm applying my shadow, and then just to go over the sides of it, create a super straight, sharp line using my foundation. You could also use concealer for that. It's just my preference. You don't get fallout with Shadow Sense, but it is going to stay where you put it. So if you put it outside the line of where you want your makeup, you're going to need to cover it up. And I find it's quicker to do that, and I like the effect far more. And that's it. Aside from drying my hair, I'm ready for the day. Thanks so much for watching, guys, and I hope that you've enjoyed this video.